Hi there, a very good morning to all our viewers. You've tuned in live to this broadcast on Moneycontrol. You're watching Newspresso with me, Stacy Pereira. And as the drill goes, in the next few minutes, we're going to be giving you a lowdown of all the top stories from across the globe, insights into India, as well as all the latest trends that are doing the rounds, which will keep you ahead and give you that kick start to your day. So let's not waste any more time and take you straight to all that we're getting from our global dispatch. Now, well, the rally on Wall Street, that was short-lived as investors shifted focus from NVIDIA earnings and grew more cautious ahead of Powell's remarks, which are likely to happen at Jackson Hole. The Dow has its worst day since March, while the broader market index, the tech-heavy Nasdaq, that too logged in its biggest one-day losses since August 2nd. However, U.S. stock futures, those ones have opened quite flat for the moment. Wall Street will also be eyeing the consumer sentiment data for August, which is due later today. Now, European markets, those ones too stumbled on Thursday, ending lower as NVIDIA-led rally really faded through the later half of the day. While you did see also the bond yields, those ones also shifting that sentiment. Now, after three consecutive positive sessions as well as a strong open, the Pan-European Stock 600 index closed by about 0.4% lower. It was the financial services that really added about half a percentage point in trade, whereas tech stocks, those ones retreated from that recent rally to fall by about 2.3%. On the macro front, Eurozone Purchasing Managers Index or PMI figures came in well below expectations, and services activity has slid further into decline. Meanwhile, a Turkey central bank, that one has gone ahead and hiked interest rates by more than expected, signaling that it is willing to follow through on a new commitment to damp inflation through monetary policy. And the main policy rate was previously at 17.5% and now stands at 25%, a whopping 750 basis point hike. Now, Turkey's currency lira has rallied after the central bank's move. Turkish banking stocks too skyrocketed by about 9.23% higher post this announcement. Let's look at Asia now, where markets in the Asia-Pacific region too have caught that Friday fever. All major indices are trading well in the red ahead of Powell's Friday Jackson Hole speech. Now, investors are also reacting to inflation data from Tokyo, which has come in at 2.8%, lower than that 3.2% that was seen in July. Now, Japan's Nikkei 225 has stumbled by about 1.69% in open, whereas the Topix is down by 0.9%, while South Korea's Kospi, that one has fallen by 1.04%. In Australia, the S&P ASX 200 has opened down lower, dropping by 1.19%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng is pointing to a weaker open as well, whereas the GIFT Nifty here, though, is indicating a higher start for the Indian markets. Now, 5 months before the kickoff of nominating and contesting that Iowa and about 14 months ahead of that general elections, Republican presidential candidates assembled in Milwaukee for the first primary debates yesterday. Now, the issues range from economy to climate as well as Ukraine that featured in that debate. Now, candidates jockeyed around positions behind the absent frontrunner Donald Trump, who skipped the first of the 2024 debates. Now, without Trump, his rivals took pot shots at each other, as well as President Joe Biden. Among the debates were Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis, who has stood in second place in the polls, whereas Indian origin Vivek Ramaswamy is rising in that national poll and is faced with plenty of incoming fire from his more experienced rivals. Now, the debate is seen as a potentially pivotal moment for DeSantis, whose campaign has been driven by staff turmoil amidst that slow but steady decline in the polls that he's seeing. And while we're talking about Donald Trump, well, the former president has surrendered in Atlanta, where he was booked at the Fulton County Jail on state charges that he conspired to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential elections in Georgia. Now, Trump is facing charges in 4 separate criminal cases, but this will be the first time that he has his mugshot taken. Now, Trump is facing 13 other separate counts in Georgia, including that of fraud as well as falsifying statements. Trump was later released on a $200,000 bond, and while leaving that Atlanta airport, Trump denied any wrongdoing and reiterated that he has the right to challenge his defeat in the 2020 elections. And now bringing you all the focus from the BRICS summit. Well, we told you yesterday that members were weighing in on adding new countries into the BRIC bloc, and more than 40 countries now have expressed interest in joining BRICS, and 22 of them have formally asked to be admitted. Now, among them, leaders of the BRIC have invited 6 countries, including Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, Argentina, and the United Arab Emirates, now to join formally. Prime Minister Modi also took to Twitter to announce that this BRICS decision, the expansion of the bloc, will allow to forge into a viable counterweight to the West, as well as Beijing and Moscow pushing for it for the most. Now, meanwhile, we also had Prime Minister Modi as well as Chinese President Xi Jinping, who met on the sidelines of the summit and agreed to direct relevant officials in their countries for an expeditious disengagement along the line of actual control, or LAC. Remember, tensions have been high since that violent face-off in June of 2020 in the eastern Ladakh region of Galwan Valley. And a quick recap of all that transpired on the Lal Street yesterday. Yes, we did see markets fail to hold on to those opening gains and ending near the day's low in what we would call a volatile session on the Lal Street. Now, Sensex fell by about 180 odd points, whereas it is below that 65,300 levels that it is trading at, whereas Nifty too ended about 0.25% lower to slip 1% from the intraday highs. Now, Bank Nifty and mid-caps, however, have bucked the trend in this whole session. Meanwhile, stocks linked to Chandrayaan-3, which include MTAR, Tech, Paras Defense, as well as Centrum Electronics, all of those defied gravity and really rallied between 3 to 8% in yesterday's session, and defense stocks will continue to be in focus even today. Well, we have seen them add nearly 100,000 crore rupees to their combined market capitalization over the last 4 sessions. But among the stocks that you need to be keeping on your radar today, well, you do have Bharat Electronics, which has got a nod from that Defense Acquisition Council, so that will be a buzz. Vedanta, the mining company, has received an arbitration award upholding the company's contention in Rajasthan block case, as well as Paytm, where there is a buzz of a block deal going to happen later today. Well, let's tell you more. On that, we did see quite a bonanza when it came to block deals yesterday. The Indian market witnessed an unprecedented amount of selling from promoters as well as private equity. A whopping $10 billion have been sold so far in 2023. Now, this according to investment banking sources. This trend is only likely expected to pick up in the near term. In fact, block deals worth 10,700 crore rupees got executed yesterday alone, the largest deal involving Bearing PE, which sold about 27% stake in Coforge for around 8,000 crore rupees. The other major shares that exchanged hands in the secondary market included that of Max Financial, Manappuram Finance, RBL Bank, as well as Sapphire Foods. Interestingly, there is buzz that 197 Communications, the parent company of Paytm, will be seeing its promoter Antfin sell about 3.6% stake in, or about 2.3 crore shares in the fintech firm today. The floor price for this deal is likely to be at a discount, coming in at 880.10 rupees per share, which is, if you look compared to its yesterday's closing price, a 2.7% discount. And on to all the policy-related news, where we had the minutes of the August 10th monetary policy meeting that were released last evening, wherein members have reiterated their caution about the pickup in retail inflation in the near term. At least RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das has cautioned that the headline inflation is expected to harden significantly through July as well as August, driven by that spike in tomato prices as well as other vegetable prices. Minutes show that members are prepared to look through that first round of food inflation and will continue to watch to see if it persists and leads to higher wages. The minutes also show that RBI is determined to squeeze out liquidity. Bond dealers fear that the CRR hikes are likely to continue. As expected, the MPC with set rates in India had kept repo rates unchanged, citing continuous threat from inflation. Remember, retail inflation came in at 7.44% for the month of July, which was a huge 257 basis point higher than the revised June number of 4.87%. And in the corporate world, well, tennis icon Rafael Nadal has become the new brand ambassador for Infosys, and this is a 3-year contract that he signed with them. Now, this is the first ever collaboration with the digital services company that is Infosys, which has had a long-standing relationship with tennis, having partnered with various other federations in the past. Now, as part of the collaboration, Infosys as well as Nadal's coaching team are going to be developing an artificial intelligence or AI-powered match analysis tool. Now, a personalized tool, it will be available in real time to Nadal's coaching team to simultaneously track insights from his live matches when he is back on tour, along with data from his earlier matches. Nadal has in fact gone on and shared a video clip of him on Twitter announcing this collaboration. Listen into what he had to say.
Hello everyone, I am very excited to announce this partnership with Infosys. Over the years, I have experienced how Infosys helped the players to use technology on tour. I think Infosys helped to transform our sport and make it super easy for every player on the tour, creating easy access to all the data and analytics.
And to all the other news, well, updates from the Chess World Cup final. Now, after that nail-biting session of the finale, we saw Magnus Carlsen come out and emerge as the new chess champion after defeating India's 18-year-old Praggnanandhaa. Remember, Carlsen has beaten Praggnanandhaa in a match that was about 1.5 to 0.5 in a tiebreaker after that classical game ended in a stalemate. Now, while Praggnanandhaa was the runner-up of the event, do note that he has faced Carlsen earlier as well, where he challenged the 5-time world champion and defeated him thrice in the last 6 months. And also the 69th National Film Awards were announced in a press conference in New Delhi yesterday. The winners list was fairly dominated by Hindi film, with also RRR featuring quite prominently. Now, Alia Bhatt as well as Kirti Sanon, both of them shared the award for the Best Actress for her performance in Gangubai as well as Mimi. And Allu Arjun was named the Best Actor for his blockbuster Pushpa. Now, in the first national award, it is the first national award for all of these 3 actors, whereas RRR, that has won a slew of awards, including Best Popular Film, Best Music, as well as Best Male Playback Singer awards, winning quite a few of them. Now, Rocketry, The Nambi Effect, that one was given the award for the best film. And remember, the Dada Saheb Phalke Award, the India's highest film honor, is yet to be announced. And now to give you some lighter news on a Friday morning, well, guess who got promoted to the Norwegian army? That's right, nobody else but Sir Nils, and he is none other than a little penguin. Now, the penguin belongs to the Edinburgh Military Zoo, and they have shared on X.com, which is formerly Twitter, pictures which went on to say, "Arise, Sir Penguin, the highest ranking penguin in the world." Now, Sir Nils Oberl III has been promoted to Major General by the Norwegian King's Guard, and Sir Nils now holds the 3rd highest rank in the Norwegian army. The penguin earlier held the title of Brigadier at the zoo and now has been promoted to Major General. Sir Nils Oberl III, Major General Nils, is the mascot of His Majesty the King's Guard and was adopted during one of the band and drill team's participation, the Royal Edinburgh Zoo tattooed. Well, we definitely want to know your thoughts on whether you think a penguin should be holding this kind of title. Do share with us in our comment section of what you think of this. Let's also bring you up to speed with all other cues that you need to be tracking for today. Well, we do have the B20 Summit, or the Business 20 Summit of India 2023, which will kick off today and go up until August 27. This will happen in Delhi. We're expecting Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to conduct a session at 3 p.m. today. And we're going to see right from top bankers to the who's who of corporate India, all in participant at this event. Also, the much anticipated Jackson Hole Economic Symposium, that one is underway too. And remember, today is when we are likely to hear from the Federal Reserve Chairperson Jerome Powell, who will speak at the conclave. This is likely to happen at 7:35 p.m. India Standard Time. So do watch out for that. And also you can be looking out for SpaceX, which is going to launch the Dragon spacecraft crew at about 1:19 p.m. at 1 o'clock odd times India Standard Time. They are going to be propelling 3 astronauts as well as 1 cosmonaut of that Crew 7 mission, which is set to be launched on board Crew Dragon Endurance from the Launch Complex 39A of NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and they are going to be traveling to the International Space Center. So all of that you can be looking forward to. A lot is happening in out of space, we could say, but a lot also happening here back home that we need to be looking out for. Well, with that, it's a wrap, and hope this dose of Newspresso was useful, informative, and gave you that kick start to your day. But don't forget to come back on Monday morning, because here's where we'll be for your same fresh sort of Newspresso. From all of us that put this show together, thanks so much for tuning in.
How do world leaders view India?
I've long believed that the relationship between the United States and India is will be one of the defining relationships of the 21st century.
The bright spot of the global economy.
The growth rate for India, which is 6.8 in 2022. Let's not forget, this is one of the bright spots in the global economy right now, such a high growth rate.
The potential of India is enormous, and you have now a reformer, a radical reformer, who has the ability to transform it.
On the verge of a big transformation.
इस अमृत काल में हमारे संकल्पों की सिद्धि हमें आजादी के 100 वर्ष तक ले जाएगी.
A magnet for investment.
I'm actually incredibly excited about the future of India. I think India has more promise than any large country in the world.
The world is bullish on India. Moneycontrol is bullish on India. Join the campaign. Tweet to us with #MC Bullish on India.